Listen up, get ready, I'm not gonna take no more. There's a revolution, a revelation going on in my soul. Buckle up, get ready, we're not gonna sit back.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Live from the Heartland. And gives me a lot of pleasure to bring on our next guest, someone who is not a stranger to the show, but has been not on the show for a little while. And that is the one and only longtime women's rights advocate and current chair of the Police District Council of the 24th District, the one and only Veronica Arreola. Hello to you, Veronica.
Hey, great to see you.
Thanks for coming on. Well, last time you were on the show, we talked about the Police District Council, and you were one of a slate of three that Network 49 and I think probably the 49th Ward Democratic Party all endorsed, and you won the election. So
Yes,
how about telling us what the Police District Council is, what it does, and what's going on?
Yeah, we won. That was, it seems like a lifetime ago. It was just earlier this year.
Time flies.
Yes. The district councils, our job is essentially to be liaisons between the community and the police, and to hold monthly meetings in order to talk with the community, hear from the community their concerns, as well as ideas on how we can create a safer community, and particularly here in the 24th district.
So what's been happening? How many meetings have you had, and what's it like meeting with the police? Are they listening to you, asking you questions, arguing? What's happening?
Here in the 24th, we've just finished, we just had our 5th meeting last weekend, and they've been going really well. We've been getting a good number of people, like around 20 people each meeting, having some really good discussions. We've been really focusing on listening to what people are concerned about, worried about, and those things have ranged from the Howard Street L stop and the things that are happening around there, a rash of shoplifting in the area, and as well as police engagement with the community. We've also had some people who have been bringing ideas about making certain things that are illegal legal in community in order to reduce crime that goes along with, with drugs and sex work.
What do they want to make legal? More drugs?
Drugs and sex work, yes. Somebody brought, when their public comment, they talked very well and eloquently about how to decouple that, as well. And that's something that I've actually had conversations with the commander of the 24th about, is the crime and violence that's around, particularly the drug trade, is to think about where is that crime coming from? Is it about the transaction, or is it about like protecting all of these sorts of things, all these different layers that go around crime that comes around drug trade and sex work? Like where, why, and then that brings a lot of people, as well as some of our neighbors, to consider the fact that if we legalize those things, does that immediately bring down crime? I have not looked into that in terms of marijuana, so that's a research question.
Let me ask you what these meetings are like. You've got the 3 members of the district council. You also have citizens who want to listen in or even say something. And then you have members of the police department?
Sometimes members of the police department come. Yes, but if they've attended, they've just attended. They haven't said anything. We have a really great community. We have a really great relationship with Commander Brennan at the 24th. I've sat down with him a couple of times, seen him at events. I can call or text him anytime I have a question.
So this is not an oversight board. It's like a kind of know more about it and give advice and suggestions.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
What kind of power do you have?
We have a power of suggestion.
Yeah.
So that we have a good relationship with the commander. So if we come up with an idea of like, maybe we can do this instead of that, and then we can feel safer, then we have that good relationship with him in order to do that. More of the oversight, the police accountability, is at the citywide commission level, which is the citywide commission is who just voted against the gang database.
Voted
So
against the what?
the gang database.
That's good.
So ended the gang database. So that citywide commission is like where I think like most of the power in terms of police accountability is.
So so at the local level, we have the police district council. At the citywide level, we have a citywide commission. And is there an election going to happen on that citywide commission?
No, the citywide commission is appointed. It is appointed through this process where there's one person in each district council. And for the 24th, that's Marilyn Pagan-Banks, who's on the nomination committee. The applications will open in January, and anyone who is interested in serving on the citywide commission can apply then. Then the nominations committee goes through all those applications, does interviews, and presents the mayor with a short list of people who can be then appointed to serve on the commission for the next few years.
Veronica, are you in touch with other the police district council people from other districts?
Yeah, absolutely.
How's it going around the city? What would people say?
It's varied. It's varied. Actually, we're talking today on a Wednesday, and tonight we're having a Northside meeting between the 17th, 19th, 20th, and 24th to discuss the police budget.
So that's just the members of the council, or not citizens coming in?
No, citizens are invited to come in, learn what it means we're going to look into the city budget, the police budget. What did it look like this year? What does it look like for the proposed budget? Why has the police budget gone up? What are they paying for? We really want to look under the hood. And so those sorts of things are not what we're typically used to doing. We as in Chicagoans, and so that's what the police districts are here for, is try and do things differently, bring more democracy to the process, transparency to the process. And so you could see that as police accountability. You're like, why do you have more money? What are you going to use it for? And is it making us safer?
What's your sense of the police's response to the police district councils?
Well, we were one of the slates that was opposed by the union, so we know what the union thinks about us. But police itself, as I said, Commander Brennan and I have a really good relationship. He's very open. All the officers I've met from the 24th seem to understand that the district councils are here and they're something that they're going to work with. I can't say that that's true across the city. There are definitely some commanders and district councils that are not seeing eye to eye and are not in a partnership the way we are up here in the 24th.
Well, we've had some good commanders up here, and my relationship with the police go back to 1976 here and much earlier other places. But I certainly had my run-ins here, but I also found a lot of cooperation and help and support. And back in the Heartland Cafe days, we had one young fellow who was a busboy who ended up becoming a police officer in the district. Let me ask you a couple other things. I'm going to throw them at you. What's your sense of the police contract that the mayor has proposed? It does include some behind the scenes. I kind of dealing with police who are accused of heavy crimes, let's say. And what's going on?
Yeah, so over the summer, an arbitrator ruled that the police union is protected under a statewide rule about unions, and people in those unions should be able to have access to an arbitrator no matter what they have done and whatever the discipline would look like, whether it's a suspension for 10 days or a whole year or even being fired. And from what I understand from what I've read, the mayor has signed a contract that includes that in the next police contract. But I am still learning on how the whole process works. From what I understand, the next step will be a city council hearing. And I do believe that our city council people can object to that part of the contract, right. Which is, there was a number of us counselors who co-signed a letter over the summer, urging our city council members to oppose that part of the contract.
Yeah, I think
And
my sense, what I heard was that it's going to the city council, but that will be separate. They can vote on that separately.
yeah.
And I would bet that it doesn't get approved, but I'm not sure if my counting is correct.
I mean, yeah. As I said, I'm still learning this process and learning what that means, and how we as police councilors can engage in that process and advocate for different things, working with our alders. In the 24th, we have 4 alders and a really good partnership with at least 3 of them.
That's good to hear. Now, let me ask you another thing that's in the news, and that's that there are some people who participated in the January 6th rebellion, or whatever we call insurrection. And some of them, I think 6, are members of the Chicago Police Department. So there's a lot of discussion about it. The new police superintendent on Tuesday vowed, quote, thorough investigations, end quote, following our, quote, extremism in the ranks. And this is referring to a series in the Sun-Times. But neither he nor other police brass explained the department's lack of action since a membership list for an extremist group was leaked 2 years ago. What do you got to say about all that?
I mean, that's again, it's disappointing. It's outrageous. I'm really mad about that. And a lot of us are very mad and disappointed about that. As I was reading more about this, is that there are, I don't think that there's actually a rule against it, which is really unfortunate, which means then we have to go back to a contract. And so there are all these rules, and yes, it's a bureaucracy, but something has to be done, and we can't be safe. I mean, the Sun-Times article and report is a really great piece of journalism that shows like how a young Black man was harmed by someone who has membership in a white supremacist organization. Hate crimes continue to go up in Chicago. Hate crimes against Black people, LGBTQ people. There's a rise in anti-Semitism. Those are all 3 areas where white supremacist groups are that's their ground. That's what they do. And so we have to, as a city, have to have a handle on, if we are going to say that the police officers on the streets are supposed to be protecting all of us, then clearly white supremacists are not protecting all of us. We have to address that.
I know. And people who may want to look into it, the Sun-Times has been running a series examining extremism in the department. And the article you referred to is about a guy named Jerron Mitchell, who was a star football player until he was injured while being detained by a state trooper who was tied to extremism. We got a couple of minutes left. You got any things that we left out that you would like to talk about? I mean, you might want to tell us where people can go to these meetings and see you in action with the Police District Council, when they are, et cetera. Fill us in on anything you'd like that I didn't ask you or that you want to share.
We have 2 more meetings for this year, November 12th at Edgewater Library and December 10th at the Northtown Library. Both meetings are at 3 p.m. on a Sunday. We are trying to set our calendar by the December meeting for 2024. You can reach us on Facebook and Instagram at 24th District. I believe there is a website, CCPSA, on the city website. It lists all of our meetings as well. So we really do want people to come on out and voice their concerns and ideas.
Oh, that would be good. So you've been a longtime women's rights advocate, and and you've been on the show for that even before you were involved with the Police District Council. Do you have anything about women's rights you would like to talk about and share? Because it's always a big issue.
I just heard today that the number of abortions that have happened in this country since Roe v. Wade fell has only gone up. So the making it illegal did not do what the right wing thought it was going to do. In fact, Illinois was number 1 in the number of abortions performed in this country. And I have to say that that is because we have fortified the state as a way to be a place for all the other states that surround us who have reduced their access to abortion or eliminated access to abortion. We have people who are coming from miles and miles away to access this very important healthcare procedure. And I'm actually really proud of us. We did what we were supposed to do.
Illinois is a great state. It's we are surrounded by the likes of Indiana. Michigan is pretty good, but Indiana, Kentucky, and Missouri. And those are some really backward ass places these days.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they've in Iowa as well, and Wisconsin out for a while. Wisconsin was touch and go in terms of what their access to abortion was. So,
well,
we had to do some heavy lifting here in order to make sure that the people of this country had access to one of the most common healthcare procedures that one can have in their lifetime. So,
well, I want to thank you for coming on. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. I don't see you as often since the restaurant is closed.
Yeah.
A few years.
Right. I know.
I have seen you via Zoom on this show, and I'll probably see you at one of these meetings or at a rally. Who knows what? Thank you, Veronica Arreola.
Thank you.
Any last words of wisdom to the masses who are watching or listening?
I mean, just keep staying engaged. It's hard out there right now, and it's hard to lose hope. But I find my hope in community.